Hi, welcome to Camp Happy Mail. I'm so glad that you're here with me today because I have a quick and easy card for you. We're going to make several of them. Again, quick and easy, minimal supplies, any occasion. You can put whatever sentiment you want on these. When I say minimal supplies, I mean minimal supplies. Paper. You can use any paper you have. If you want to use solid paper or pattern paper, I happen to have 333 sheets of origami paper with alcohol ink designs on it that I picked up at Michael's probably a year ago. The designs are beautiful. I don't have to pull out my alcohol inks to create anything, although I love doing that. Today we're going to do it this way. So I've already pulled out some sheets. Now I have 7 cards to make. I'm going to make some extras just from my stash, but I have 7 cards I need to make for 7 friends. And I've picked out sheets that include some of their favorite colors. I have some dies. These are from Amazon. I will link these below. I did look to see if there was a manufacturer that made similar dies to these before I bought these, and I didn't find what I was looking for as far as the flowers. So I did get these from Amazon. And then I have my trusty old Lawn Fawn large rectangle stitched rectangle dies. I use these on just about every card. That's why they're so beat up like they are. And then I just have a hodgepodge of sentiments. I know I need to do some sympathy cards for my stash, so I pulled out the sympathy ones. Got some thinking of you. And then this stash, now this group of people that I'm making these cards for, every now and then we do a supply swap where we pull out some papers and we cut them down, or we stamp some sentiments. And these were sentiments that were all sent to me by this group of people over the last couple of years. So I'm just randomly going to pull out sentiments and put on them. I am going to leave the insides blank so that if they want to, they can repurpose them and send them on to somebody else. So to save some time, I'm going to go ahead and do all the die cutting, and then we'll come back and we'll assemble. Okay, so what I've done so far is I've used the largest rectangle die in this set because that cuts a perfect A2 size piece of paper. And it's a little hard to see it on these, but there is just a fine stitch line going around the border of these. It just gives the cards something a little extra. So now I'm going to take these dies, and I have 7 people I'm making cards for, and I'm going to pick out a different die for each of them, and I'm going to cut these out. And then I'll be back. So we have ourselves a dilemma. I cut the first of the flowers, and I initially cut it out in white, thinking that white would look great against all of the backgrounds. And then I laid it down on top of this one, and to me it looks super busy, and the white doesn't really stand out that much. So then I thought, well, maybe I'll cut it out of black and see what that looks like. And admittedly, I do like the black a lot better. So now I have to decide with each of the backgrounds whether I want the flowers to be in white or if I want them to be in black. And I think the white stands out better on this one. So we'll do the white pile and the black pile. And some of these I think are going to be able to go either way. I think I like the black on that one. But see, the white on this one is super pretty. I mean, it's pretty on this one too. But I think there's a little too much gold and lighter colors in here. But I think this one could be in white, but it would also probably really work well in black. And that's where I'm going to have trouble, because now I have to decide. I kind of like the black because it makes it look like a silhouette. But I also like the vibe of this one because it's like summery. We'll come back to that one. There's the white. Or the black. And of course we can turn this one around. And the black seems a little dark on this one. But if I'm gonna do the white, then I think I want to turn it this way. Yeah, so we'll do that one in white. And again, these might look different with the other flowers because all the flowers are different. But the white and the black, I think the black is too dark on this one. Yeah, and I think we're going to do the black on this one. So now this one. The black. Or the white. I think we're going to go black. Why not? And then these are the extra ones that I'm going to do. And I know I'll do a black one on that one. I think the white is too light. So we'll do a black on that one. That could be fun to put it on this side. And we'll do black on that one. And black is going to be dark on this one. So I think we'll probably do white on this one. Although we could do the black on this side. Yeah, I think I'll do these ones in black. Okay, so now I'm going to go and cut the rest of the flowers, and then we'll come back and we'll assemble a couple of these. Okay, so I finished die cutting all of the flower dies for on these. And one thing I noticed, and it's probably already common knowledge, if you decide to go with the cheap dies from Amazon, and they are cheap dies, they are from overseas. Like I said, I did some research ahead of time before I bought them to see if I could find a set of these that wasn't from overseas, wasn't from Amazon. I didn't come up with a set like this. So I went ahead and I got the Amazon ones. I knew when I bought them that they might be finicky as far as getting them through the die cut machine. They went through just fine, but as you can see, they didn't all cut perfectly. Now these two here, I did have to weed out all of the pieces on these. The rest of them, this is how they came out of the die cut machine. And I'm gonna have to go through and weed all the pieces out of them. This one actually didn't even cut the full side or the bottom. And I did run this through with shims a couple of times. So I'll just use an X-Acto knife to finish that one off. But I'm gonna go ahead and leave the camera running, and I'll speed it up while I do all the weeding of this. And I'll let you know after I'm done really how long it took to do the weeding on these, just so you know what you're in for. But again, the dies are cheap dies from Amazon. I know some people are against buying stuff from Amazon, and I totally get that. I'm this same way. If I know that it's a brand that somebody had, like, that's an actual brand, I'm like Stampin' Up. There's all kinds of Stampin' Up knockoffs. There's all kinds of, there's some Gina K knockoffs. There's some other knockoffs on there. I won't buy anything that I know is a knockoff. I will look to see if I'm not sure, like these. If I'm not sure if it's a knockoff, I will do as much research as I can to try to find where they got the design from. And if I can't find it, then I have to make a decision. Do I want to buy it? Do I not? I'm not selling the cards that these are on. These are strictly made for friends. They're for my own use. But I totally get the dilemma, the debate about buying things from Amazon, especially dies or stamps or whatever. Again, do your research. You do you. It's totally up to you what you want to do. I did, because I liked them and I couldn't find another source for them. I spent a couple of bucks and I bought them. I know I'll get a lot of use out of them, but they're going to be a little bit of extra work. And I knew that going in. You get what you pay for. So let's get to weeding. Now some of the pieces will pop out just as easily as this. You can use your fingernails to pretty much knock them out. So I think that's how I'll start, is knocking out as many of the big pieces as I can. And some of them, like this corner piece, didn't cut, so I'll probably have to get my little X-Acto knife out to get that one out. And if the sound has changed a little bit, it's because I'm sitting down now. A couple seconds ago I was standing up and I was talking about these, and I was a lot closer to where the mic is, but I'm sitting now, and so the sound might be a little bit different, and I apologize for the difference in that. I'll try to remember to talk loud enough so that you can actually hear me. So far these are all weeding up pretty easily, with the exception of the couple that I had to use the X-Acto knife on them. Okay, so the weeding is all done. So let's take a look at what we got. See if we made the right decision with the blacks and the whites. right. What do we think? Did we make the right decision on whether we needed blacks or whites on top of them? And really, your paper can go any way you want it to go. I'm just flipping them around to see if I like them better a different way. Okay, I think that's good. I'm going to go ahead and assemble some of these. And actually, I'm going to assemble all of them. And then I'll come back and I'll show you all the cards at the end. Okay, so I've decided that I'm going to go ahead and assemble 2 of these on camera, just to show you how quickly and easily they come together. Probably the longest part of this process was doing the die cutting and the weeding out of all the pieces. But after this, it's going to be quick and easy. Now, I know this is going to be a little controversial. I am going to use a tape runner to put my bases down. And the reason for that is because this is origami paper. I don't know if you're familiar with origami paper or not, but origami paper is super, super thin. I don't know if there's a weight on this. It's standard origami paper. It is just super thin. And I'm afraid that if I use liquid glue on these, that it will just soak right through the paper. It doesn't say on here what weight the paper is, but I promise you it is very, very thin. I mean, this is like thinner than copy paper that you would use in your printer. So because of that, I am going to use tape runner just to hold these down. Now, I'm not expecting that the recipients of these cards are going to keep them forever and ever, amen. So, I mean, if they fall apart after some time, then they fall apart. That's just the way that it goes. I know a lot of people don't even keep their cards, they throw them away, and I'm perfectly fine with that. So, that said, we are going to use a tape runner. The one I'm using is a scrapbook.com. This is the permanent adhesive. This was a freebie. I just got this in a recent package. I've not used their tape runners before, or their ruler adhesive, so we'll see how this goes. So let's go ahead and get these 2 built. Now I am going to use liquid adhesive on this part because it would be too hard to get this on the back of here. So let's go ahead and start with this one. Ooh, I don't drive the tape runner too well. Watch me make a mess with the tape runner. Tape runner is not something that I use a whole lot, obviously. I used to use tape runner all the time. I have an ATG gun that I used to use whenever I scrapbooked. But I thought I would try this out, and I apparently don't drive this very well. And that's okay. Just as long as we get enough on here that it's not going to immediately fall apart. So now, because this is permanent, this is a one-shot deal. I've got to get this on here straight the first time because it's not coming back up if I don't. So we will carefully match the edges up. And I am going to have to trim a tiny bit off of the top of this because apparently my paper is a little bit smaller than my card base. And now we will liquid glue this. And this is something else that I'm testing out. This is the My Sweet Petunia, and I think it's called a glue press. Normally I just use the squeeze bottle like this. I've been having a lot of trouble with these bottles lately. I don't know if it's the temperature, the humidity, or whatever, but I've been having a lot of trouble with both my Bearly Arts and my Art Glitter Glue clogging, which I never had that problem before, so I don't know what's going on with those. But I had seen this and I had resisted it, and I told myself, nah, you don't need that. The squeeze bottles are just fine. And after fighting with these so much, I thought, maybe there's something to this. And maybe this would be easier for me too. After a little while, my hands get tired of trying to squeeze the glue out of those. So I thought, okay, well, let's give this a try. I'm not really excited about the size of the glue bottle that's in here, but it is refillable, so that's okay. I can look past that. And I have used this on a couple of other cards. I'm not completely sold yet. So I'm not recommending that you rush out and buy one of these. If you have, I know some people that have basal joint arthritis here, and other people that have arthritis in their hands, and they swear by this now. But I'm not recommending this. I'm testing it out to see if I like it. I may eventually switch back to these, or I may try a different kind of bottle. I don't know yet. So let's go ahead and put some glue on this. And my aim is not real good with this yet. Especially with intricate things. But the nice thing about intricate things and this glue is you can get really thin lines with this. And my hand-eye coordination is a little rough right now. And I'm not quick enough with this because the glue is already drying in the first places that I put it. But it'll be okay. Make sure we're putting this on the right side. Okay, and this we're just going to pop up on some dimensionals. It's probably overkill on the dimensionals, but this is going through the mail and I don't want it to get squished and be sagging and stuff. And I'm just simply going to put it down here in the corner. And that's card number 1. And like I said earlier, I am leaving the insides blank so that the recipient can put whatever they want in there. And then they can pass it on if they want to. So let's go ahead and do another one. And I may need to figure out a different way to put glue on intricate things like this, because this is a little tedious and messy. So if you know of another way to put glue on something like this, let me know in the comments, because I would definitely be interested. I plan on using these dies quite a bit because I really do like them. But I can see that having to do this each time would probably deter me from using them as much as I want to. And I am going to have to trim the bottom of this card off too, because it is longer. And again, we will pop this sentiment up on dimensionals. There. And that's the first two. So those came together pretty easily. I'm actually really happy with how quickly these came together, and I really like how they look. So let me go ahead and finish up the other ones, and then I will come back and we'll take a look at all of them. Okay, so we are back with the finished cards. I made 11 cards, and altogether these 11 cards took me about 2.5 to 3 hours total to complete. The longest part of the process was the weeding out of all of the pieces out of each of the dies, and then putting the glue on the back of all the dies because they are so intricate. So let's take a look at what we have. And I'm just going to hold these up and show them to you a little closer. They're all different sentiments. Every single one of them is different. And overall, I'm really happy with how they came out. Now, I know I could have doubled these to give them a little bit more dimension, but for today, I decided to just go with one layer. And I think the one layer worked out just fine. So if you need to make some quick and easy cards, this is a quick and easy way to do it. Again, just some simple dies, some sentiments, and some pattern paper. And you can use, like I said in the beginning, you can use any pattern paper that you have. I think these could also be very pretty. So those ones are the ones for my friends. And then these ones are the sympathy cards that I made. I think these could also be very pretty if these dies were cut out of specialty paper like glitter paper or metallic paper. You might need some extra shims if you do that because they are, again, cheap dies. But I think that could be very pretty on some different papers as well. And that is our 11 cards for today. So thank you for sticking with me through this one. I hope you'll give this a try. If you're interested in these dies, again, they are from Amazon. They are not a name brand. And I know that's controversial. I'm not looking to have a debate with anybody, and I won't be responding to comments about how you shouldn't be buying things from Amazon. I did the research. I couldn't find these by an actual real manufacturer. And so I made the decision that it was okay for me to buy them. Now, it may not be okay for you, and that's fine. I'm perfectly accepting of whatever you want to do. But if you are interested, these are linked below, and they have other sets too that aren't these ones. They're a little different. I won't be able to link the paper unless I can still find it at Michael's. But again, you can use any pattern paper that you have. And that's it for today. So go make some cards, have some fun, and I'll see you in the next video.